April 23, 23. Oh, they started following me again today, and so I start giving statements. It makes people scatter. Then see some of the bad cars drive by. They're so stupid. They've already grabbed over 188 March, another 17, and then another 18 and another 12. They got over 200 people messed up in this and 800 nationwide. But they keep wanting to put their names on it. Unreal for the being in that big human trafficking scam that was run here and attached to my case. Yesterday out at my clients, my protective life officers for the protective custody case, one of them was out there where the night before somebody had been out there and said that somebody showed up and was telling everybody he taped me before. Well, they called the police on them. They yelled at. The police said they had no right being in her home. While I'm working at my clients, I go to get the dog to come back in. He's outside. He said, I seen what she texted on her phone because they have a copy of my phone. And said, none of this is funny. Kurt said that he told him none of this is funny and they're all going to get in a lot of trouble for this. And that agent's been trying to cover up what they did. And people are already asking questions. And they're all going to get in trouble. Life in federal, including that agent for trying to cover up human trafficking and murder. He's a cop. He's one of my protected custody case guys. They're still here. Yesterday at Munchies, I was with my client. We're sitting down. A guy comes in and said they found a tape of them admitting of drugging her and telling her to say it before. Yeah, they did. I told you. In the tape before this, I already told you. May 25th, 21, Wendy's Screen Alliance of the Church People, of Louisville, of the church people breaking in before, drugging her and telling her to say weirdo, molester stuff. That's not funny. Well, 1295 Fairland screamed at him for doing it. And by that Saturday, I'm at my clients on Fairlawn Street. Dave was dating several girls. And this heavyset blonde girl in a blue car comes down, yells at goons from Marana. Are you crazy? You can't enter a drug confession. He said, well, we just found out they drugged her and told her to say it before. Okay. Well, February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory, there's a Latino guy and a girl with black hair, and her hair is in spirals. They walk up and said, I see her out today. It's not funny what's going on. He said, I know. I wish I went and drugged her first and told her to say it. Well, these people sold the protected life case by Thanksgiving of 18. Okay? And we go and save a lot. People go running in. Oh my goodness, they admitted to drugging her and telling her to say it before. On 6th Street, people are running out of their houses yelling it to the postman. Postman's like, we all heard it. Yesterday, so at Menchie's, where they said they're going to get in a lot of trouble for this, they found a tape of them admitting that they drugged her and told her to say it before. Fourth Amendment, you have a right to be safe and secure in your places and homes. They cannot be in inner offices or homes except for protected life cases with statements. That agent would know that and he couldn't look or listen. But for their omission that they kicked in my door and were stalking me. They go to jail for stalking. They say they have sodium pentothal reports. They admitted to drugging me and even beating the truth out of me. That's assault with a deadly weapon, kidnapping, drug charges, an attempt to murder. That they were watching us all in the bedrooms, bathrooms, nudes, and were taping and dispensing kiddie porn among them and with the drug cartel. That agent didn't arrest him. And they were sex trafficking videos of all of us to their friends and family and the drug dealers. And he didn't arrest him. It's a severe Fourth Amendment right, and then 5th, 6th, and 7th. And he didn't arrest him for admitting to stalking and all those heinous crimes. 21 people were running around. They're admitted to kidnapping her. They admitted to heinous crimes. And they're sitting there, mouths are dropping open. Do they realize what they're saying? Do they really? Last Sunday, my daughter-in-law Jen, her mom had a memorial. She had died last month. Okay. I had talked to my grandson's girlfriend, Shay, and I said, well, somebody was really messing with me up there. I had bruises everywhere. I was throwing up, getting dizzy, almost passing out. Even the neighbor had to help mow the lawn. I said I could mow the lawn at Lennox like it was nothing. Jen's like, I didn't think about it before. And I said, I said I had hand marks. I had giant bruises. Everybody seen them. Everybody knew they kicked in my door on the 6th day. And I told her about the 4th Amendment, President Nixon getting impeached for bugging an office. Nobody can be in your home. Okay? And then, and she's like, Karen, this is really creepy. I said, Jen, you don't realize that they have porn of you in the bathroom. She's like, well, I hope I was gassy. I said, you don't understand. They have porn of Dave and everybody. Everybody uses the bathroom. They have kitty porn. I didn't say the kitty porn part, but I said they have nudes of all of us using the bathroom. They have a shower scene in the other room. And they're supposed to drug me and told me to say weirdo stuff. And I never talked to anybody. I showed them a picture of July 1st, 2018, and a deer's head's turned, and there's a man standing in the woods. Shay's like, this is creepy. I said, I know it is. Okay? Well, after Jen's mom's memorial, I go to leave. They're out in the parking lot. Gabe's like, him and Shay walked up to Jen and Danny and her brother and said, none of this is funny. I called Dad. And Gabe and Shay comes up and says, Shay told me what's going on. Danny's, none of this is funny. I looked her up. They try to blame us for this. Because I put it on my Facebook. So I could tell them without telling them that they could look it up. Because all these people are running around saying all this stuff. And they already sold a login by 18. Thanksgiving at 18. Everybody knows about my family. And he said, we didn't know anything about it. He said, I know. I called Dad. Dad said, some agent went up to that church once. Went up to that church and was asking them all about the threats on her life. And and was questioning. Dave admitted he'd seen Will. And he said he was the only one looking into him. Well, besides the officers that protected custody. And he told on Will. To Danny. He said, and it's supposed to have been some guy named Pete in there taping all of them. And he said, he called Nick, and Nick said, none of this is funny, and told everybody in the church to stay out of it. Dave admitted that he was letting those men violate me. He was letting them drug me, leave bruises. They admitted that they were raping me and letting that Steve rape me. Dave made love to me all the time. And he was letting those drug dealers touch me under drugs, and I wouldn't know I was violent. And I wouldn't know where the bruises were coming from. And I had giant ones and hand marks. And I'd been throwing up and almost passing out and couldn't figure out why I was sick. He let those men violate me like that. And he knew they were taping stuff like that and photoshopping shower scenes. And date rape drugging me, so I'd be sleepwalking for 4 or 6 hours. He let me get violated, and he knew it was happening. And he knew they were taping his grandchildren in the bathroom unaware and obtaining and dispensing kitty porn with his admission to Danny of knowledge. He committed a lot of federal crimes. Dave's phone should be tapped from the protected custody case because an officer talked to Dave about the threats on my life, and he was one of the main subjects. See, that's where that Will told on me the night before. Will bullied me into a false statement. The police already know that. Where I tried to tell him what happened at Huntington Bank, where Dave called me, where are you at? I'm buying something for dinner. I got a phone call to me, don't go. And I'm freaking out. because I had the 4 attempts on my life. Then I didn't hang up with Terry, and the church has taken up $25,000 to have me murdered because Ron wants me dead. Dave hold me down. How he hired a man to slit my throat, stab me in the heart, and wanted to shoot me if I ran. I almost got shot in the first 45 days. He was him then. And then, him having some man do it. Let's see, what else? Where that lady impersonated cost me that job. Katie leaving threats with 3 people in the mall. It was them trying to kill me. They had a permanent plan. That's this. The drugs, the stalking, the photoshopping. It's federal prison. And they had men to take care of me. Realizing how stupid the 4 attempts, attempted kidnapping, attempted carjacking, following rounding, the attempted break-in, they knew where the security system, it was all them. Why did I only think he was cheating? Because I couldn't imagine him ever being part of it. We were married 30 years. And I'm freaking out. And he calls me, where are you at? I'm buying something for dinner. I got a phone call to make. Don't go. I look up and they're giving flu shots. It's like, it's not even safe for me to be here anymore. I go get a flu shot, walk along the long pharmacy, got dizzy, sat down on the bench. She's like, just breathe. Just breathe. You're okay. Just breathe. I heard the voice. I can't believe she's here. It's the same one as I got her and she got away. I stand up and I turn my car. Comes up behind me. I stab her right here now. If it wasn't for that security guard, the Pizza Hut lady's like, are you going to stab her and get it over with? He said, I won't make it out for that security guard. I turn my car real quick into the bank. I want to open an account. Got in front of somebody. Look over, the Pizza Hut lady walks off around him, come up and tells the mail banker, I get paid to watch her. He's like, lady, stay out of it. She lays her head down this and said, no, I get paid to watch her. He's like, lady, I mean, it won't be worth it then. You stay out of this. And they're going back and forth. And she finally walks off, and I look over, and the guy that tried to kidnap me, tried to carjack me, just threatened a knife. He walked off with her, and David instantly calls me, but I put him on hold. Now, I told that agent what happened. Was there a camera above you and above that bench? I don't know. If you don't know that if there's a camera above the bench, you better say you're lying or I'll arrest you. And he said, now, was there a camera above that bench or not? I don't know. He said, no, say it or else I'll put you in jail. Fine, whatever. Made me plead for my life. Then he lists me informant. I'll list you informant. He was going to do it anyways. He'd already told on me the night before. It was verified. Even Dave seen him and told Danny. He said, you'll have a life of peace as an informant for working this case. Nothing legally stated, dated against you again, and only for you would we ever do this for. We'll always put it back to the traffic ticket, even when you tell someone. I opened an account with $5,000 a month. It'll start growing from now on, and when you move out, you'll have that money to live on for working this case. He said, no man will ever touch you. I'll take care of everything. And I'll pull you out if it gets too bad. But if you tell someone, oh, it's crazy, no one will help you. He can't tell me not to say anything. Another FBI agent tried to tell an informant that they couldn't say anything, and they got an attorney out of state and sued him. The press ripped him a new one nationwide. That agency does not have the right authority to ever tell anybody they can't say anything. They're only hiring law enforcement. They're only hiring cops. It takes a sitting judge to put a gag order on you. Freedom of speech. He was bullying me. December 2nd, 22, Wendy's Alliance. One of the guys that watched me come in and said, is that the one that church tried to have killed? Yes. He said, I heard she didn't get any money out of this. He said, no, it's that one guy from the case. He's been stealing every dime of it since the first day. They said Will stole it on the first day. See, that main officer was outside my client's yesterday. He said, I see her today. He said, Kurt said, he said, I read what she texted. They have a copy of my phone from the Protective Light case. Okay? He said, Kurt said, he said, I read what she texted. None of this is funny. He said, Kurt said none of this is funny. And they're all going to get in a lot of trouble for this, and that agent's trying to cover it up. And he's not going to, he's going on about it. And the neighbors were out there and said she's an informant. The police can never tell her what's going on. See, I feed the police and the FBI information I find out. And for putting my life at risk, I get the money and diplomatic immunity for life. See, that's the difference of the regular witness protection program. Witness protection program, you write out a statement, do a video statement, they change your name and hide you. And they give you money and take care of you for your statement. Informants, they feed them information. They leave them in danger for a little while. It gets too bad, they pull them out. And for working a federal case, they actually give them the money for life and the different immunity for life. And it's only for working that case. Will knew he couldn't look at Pete's home videos of him stalking. And Dave's admission that he knew he was doing it. That's why Dave, when they kicked in our door, oh, do you think a realtor passed out keys? Don't call and report it, because he's afraid the cops will find their dirty cameras. He knew those men were violating me and his family, and were sex trafficking me, human trafficking me, drugging me, attempted murder, assault with injuries. And he knew about the shower scene, he knew about the date rape drug confessions, and he knew about everything. I told you, there are so many people that have went to the police. My client on Shepler Church Road last year, her neighbor, that someone, when I first started working out there, said, Judge Pete is retired Judge Pete is the one that was taping her before, and he photoshopped her and date rape drugged everything, and they made up everything on her. Okay. And she told the police and investigators. So did Edith Oakland apartment, December 9, 21. 4 p.m. They told him he went to the camp police and investigators, and so did a white man bald with dark eyes distributing food at the Stark County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street. There's only 4 or 5 volunteers. Canton and the investigators found him. That they always knew the tapes before were them and not me. They're not even admissible. They can't even look at them. It's a 4th Amendment, a severe 4th Amendment right violation. You can't be in somebody's home. You don't get special permission. There's no such thing as a court order. One of the drug dealers from Michigan, they were out there harassing me. He slammed on the brake to that neighbors and said, the worst thing she ever did wrong, honey, wrong, is bend over and properly. None of this is funny. He said, well, they made up the second part. He said, and there's no such thing as a court order. Watch somebody before. He said, me and my men are out of here. And they left last year. They found out they were being manipulated. People's admission to this, where the one guy I went out to eat with in January, he said, I got a friend on January 20th, 23. He said, I got a friend on the police department. He said, they were actually working that case that agent opened. He said, they're trying to they're not releasing a lot of information. They knew about the Texas group that was involved in your case. I said, oh, the Kingsmen. Is that what they call themselves? He said, and they're trying to grab all these people. They found 35 people tied up and gagged in a railroad car. They don't even know how they got them in there. They knew about a retired judge in Texas involved in this big human trafficking scam. He said, he said they went down and tried to talk to him, and he killed himself. There's another judge in another state in this big human trafficking scam. Pete's Ohio contact, just like the retired judge in Florida that's in jail for this. And he said, and that they're trying to grab these people. That was January, 20th, 23. He was telling me about it. And there was a bunch of men around me I didn't know. And then he started drilling me until I was stuttering. I cried for 2 days. Don't do that to me. Those people tortured me. I talked to another police officer, and he said he was probably a plant from that police department trying to get more information than what they seen on the case. Okay. Do you know what happened on February 14th? The marshals and the sheriffs did a nationwide sweep of 800 people, over 188 in Ohio. They've done a 17 and an 18 since then, and a 12 in December. They have over, close to 250 out of Ohio involved in this. A lot of people are gone. And they still run around, act like they're big and bad. That we were in there. You go to jail for that. And all your admissions of your crime. They were so proud lying they had sodium pentothal reports. If you Google false confessions, sodium pentothal, questioner gets what it wants, right or wrong. You lie under it. You just say yes to anything. Illegal sodium pentothal. It has been outlawed since 17. Lethal sodium pentothal is used in anthrax and lethal injections. It's an anesthetic that they would use in operations, that you would just sit and say yes to anything. That's why they call it truth serum. Just say yes to anything. But it'll shut down your airway. And it'll kill you. It's attempted murder. See what I mean? And they call it spy flick movie stuff. It's illegal to drug somebody. And they're so proud they did these crimes, and they run around and they're slowly picking them off. See, with Dave's admission of knowing they were violating me and his family like this, he can go to jail. His phone's probably tapped from the Protect a Life case. Have him ratting out will and everything. See, the other day I went up to Ravenna, sat and gave him a statement how the one girl at my second job, they took her family member and killed her. Same people. Okay. We were working at a 2-client home, and she got a text message of one of her friends had got killed. And she said, this is as bad as when they showed up and made fun of me that they tied her up and cut her in pieces. And I said, and she said they would laugh at me. I was like, it's funny they raped her. They were laughing how they killed her family. Remember, I'm like, I'm sorry, people were sick. She said, you want to see a picture of her? She was beautiful. I said, I'm so sorry. I took a deep breath. And I said, you know the guy in the white van? She said, how did you know about the white van that took my family member? I took a deep breath and I said, you know, she lives in Louisville like I do. I said, you know all the Florida plates that were here? And all the men? She said, yeah, they were in the bars. I said, they told people they were drug traders. Yes, they did. I said, did you know about Henry Moffey? Sounds about right. He was with him. Show her the picture from Facebook. He's with him, but he's not. That's not him. Okay? I said, well, they said they were gentlemen's come from Florida. No, they said they were this gang. It's a really bad gang. She was eating or drinking with her family member's killer. I couldn't tell her. I didn't want to go on vigilante. How did you know about the white van? I just sat there. I had went to work at my other job. My DM, Kara's in there, and Marlisa. And the big truck guys that swore people and harassed them went after Kara. And she got out of her truck. They went after her and followed her into the store. She said, you know, they say that they're part of the big human trafficking. People with the guy with the white van and the tall white guy with black hair and the other one that's with him. And then the ones that are communicating with each other to grab people out of stores and trick them into going outside. They grab people in daylight. She's like, they took my niece in daylight. I looked at her. She said, you know, the tall white guy with the black hair. With that white van with that other guy. The authorities said that they are drug traders, human trafficking people out of this area, and they're working with the big truck guys and the other people. She said, I was in a store and this guy's talking in the air, and he's talking to somebody, telling them how to get the kids to trick them to go outside, that their mom wanted them. The people stopped them from going outside. I said, well, they have earbuds. She said, well, that makes sense. Because, see, they had earbuds and mics. Can't get around her. They're still around her to stab her. And they would say stuff like that as I walked by. I had people, so many people surrounding me at one point. And I looked at her, I told my house manager, I said, that's my kidnapper. I had got away from him. And I'm sorry they took your niece. We all have the same thing. And where these people hacked into the Protect a Life case, sold it by Thanksgiving 18. The girl in the Canton FB ATM was taken. She was in the mall with a group of girls. We all know she's innocent. She's not half bad. We ought to have her interview to be a stepmom. We'll protect her. They'll go through us. Like they were big and bad. They took her. They took her. They kept saying they wanted a 5'3", 135 blonde girl special outfit. They took a 15-year-old kid. Where people make fun of me. That agent had the serial killer that went on killing and taking people because He badgered me in Badgering Laws, Department of Justice, 1729. You have to take a victim or a witness or informant statement if you believe it or not and follow through, or it's obstruction to justice, tampering with evidence, and tampering with witnesses. It's 5 to 20 years for him calling me a liar. You can never call anybody a liar. And like the Tuscarora sheriff said, you can never tell anybody not to believe somebody and not to help them. You go to jail for that. It's abuse and misconduct. And if you find out somebody's abusing the authority that was entrusted in them, they can go to jail up to 79 years. And because of Will, people have died. People have been human trafficked. And they sold police information. He told on somebody that they're acting like he did this on purpose. And if he knew about Pete and all those violent crimes and how in danger I was, and he didn't get me out of here, he's an accessory to all those crimes, and he is in that human trafficking scam. He can't know one thing about Pete and the violent crimes that drug cartel was doing here. Because then that makes him an accessory. And I'm supposed to get $5,000 a month. They owe me $377,000. I never got a dime. They said he stole it on the first day. He cannot withhold. Oh, that's one of the things Danny was telling Jen. They said that Pete has it set up. She'll never get a dime. He doesn't have that kind of authority. They're just lying to people. I would actually have to be found guilty in a court of law. I would have to be found guilty in a civil trial and then them award money. You can't just steal somebody's money. It's embezzlement. You can't even withhold it. Department of Justice S641. Any money meant for one person, if it's misdirected or withheld, is a severe act of theft of embezzlement. It's up to 30 years. And he's defrauding the government of almost $250,000. Choose his words carefully. They need to go back through his cases and see how many other informants he stole their money and fed them to the enemy. I've been raped, I've been tortured, I've been human trafficked, I have a bashed in skull. They pulled that case where the other ones are pulling. It's like the Amish man with the beards. There's so many crimes and so many drug traders and human traffickers breaking in, hurting me, and trying to kill me. It's a house of horror. I had a state patrol officer walk by, talk to this guy. Did all those things really happen to her? He said, yes, I found out. It's amazing. She's okay. I have a dented in skull, damaged ribcage, damaged intestines. I was tortured in protected custody. I was raped. I was human trafficked, skull bashed in, kidnapped, beat, almost murdered several times, and people are taken and been killed around me. That agent is in a lot of trouble, and he needs to choose his words carefully. He let a main serial killer kid go away. You know, I told him about the What a Shame guy. He had people looking for him. Just the What a Shame guy. He's probably just a freak. The investigators grabbed the wrong guy in Walmart. They grabbed a 5'5" guy, and they're both 5'10" to 6 foot tall. The kidnapper and the What a Shame guy. They surrounded a little 5'5" guy. And I'm like, wrong guy, wrong guy. He had black hair and dark eyes. They surrounded him. You even look close to him, they would grab you. He yelled at me in Walmart, I don't know nothing about no What a Shame. But he didn't want the guy that threatened to knife me. Oh, and I looked up Ravenna Giant Eagle. There's cameras all along the front. He would have had him. Like the Canton PD said, the agent that bullied her into saying she was lying when she wasn't. They all know about him. I'm going to go ahead and upload this.